So when we're blending our oil pastels, we need to make sure we're using the appropriate colours, so loads of yellows, greens and orange and reds. We are going to start off by adding loads of pressure and then loosening our pressure. By that I mean we can now see the paper below the oil pastels. We layer that with the next colour along, so that would be orange. So a dark orange and then now a lighter orange. We do the same process where we loosen the pressure and then we overlap that with the next colour that is lighter. These are all our harmonious colours, so they're next to each other on the colour wheel. Goes from red to orange to yellow. If it doesn't, then we need to make sure that we blend that appropriately. When we apply it to our image, so this is the image of the pear from Pastels, we start off by just making sure we outline where our colours go. We do that really loosely so that we can then apply the appropriate colours in the appropriate places. We're using the same techniques that we just practiced, but we're doing it following the outline of the pear. The reason we're following the outline of the pear is because we want to enhance the fact that we are working and trying to make sure that we are drawing a three-dimensional object. So we don't want it to look 2D, we don't want it to look flat, so we're following those curves around the pear. I'm adding darker tones and lighter tones. When I think I've got all the tones in the right place, I start adding more and more pressure into these with my lighter tones. By doing so, I'm going to start blending them together. So I'm going to get loads and loads of colours. We're still following the outline. So make sure that you're not just making straight marks across your image, but you are following the curves. If you see some lines in the middle of your pear, for example, you need to make sure you're blending them into the picture, because we don't want them by the end. We want there to be a gradual range of hues and tints and shades of all the colours that you can see in the image. You can then start working into the background. You will have more than one object in your picture, whether that is partly sticking in or not. Making sure that you have adding your darker tones in the background so that your pear pops out. I'm going to be adding the greens to the pears on both the left and the right, but I'm going to add in, again, really lightly darker tones around my pear so that I know that when I'm going over it with my browns, which is the background on the table, I can apply loads more pressure, but there's going to be range where the shadow will fall. Applying the same techniques to the pears, and as you can see here, slightly more finished, I have a range of tones in my background and in my three-dimensional object.